Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we're talking about Switch 2 Joy-Cons still having stick drift. Now I really want to talk about this because some of the channels have been getting this wrong. And being someone that actually repairs controllers myself, I've even taken a look at possibly repairing some of the Joy-Cons, but it was really difficult to find parts at the time for the Switch 1. But I want to talk about that there's actually two different types of stick drift. There's type 1, where the sensor actually starts to go bad or completely wears out, and that's what the Hall effects are for. Instead of having a sensor, there's actually a magnet to be the sensor, and the Hall effect actually works really, really well, and it completely removes from the sensor failing, so this type of stick drift completely disappears. The other one is type 2, where the stick drift happens because the joystick itself and the mechanisms that hold it in place at 0 don't quite hold it in place anymore. It gets worn, it gets used. This happens with every single joystick, basically. Even the really top-notch controllers, they still get this stick drift because, again, those little teeny mechanisms to hold that joystick in place at 0, straight up toward the ceiling, they still wear out. And from what we can see with the Joy-Cons from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2, they basically look the same. The PlayStation Portal still has these same type of Joy-Cons, in a way the same type of style anyway, and those also drift. And the handhelds will too. So this is not a complete fix. And yes, type 2 drift, unfortunately, is the most common, where that module just unfortunately wears out. So yeah, the only way to truly fix this, unfortunately, is just replace the module. You can, maybe there's a piece of food or something, or maybe you spilt a drink on it and so it's sticky. You can pull it apart and try to clean it out or swab it out, maybe, or maybe even a can of air. But you got to take the covers off in order to do that. But really, yeah, the only way to actually fix it is just replace the module itself, which requires some soldering and some tools and a workspace, or just buy a new controller, which is probably what most of us do. So there is a workaround with the Elite and Pro controllers. They either allow you to swap out the module itself pretty easily, like the PlayStation Edge controller that's like $220. It allows you to buy these modules that are easily replaceable, which I wish they all did this, honestly. And these are like $30, $40, I think. But they're also really, really hard to find. But there is also a chip that allows the controller to link to software to actually readjust it to a perfect 0 for the joystick. And this type of chip is called a PCB. And this is found in some of the higher-end controllers that you can find on Xbox or for PlayStation, or even just controllers that are for PC. And yeah, this PCB chip allows you to wirelessly hook up, or sometimes it has to be wired, hooked up to your hardware that has the software to return it and readjust it back to 0. And then in turn, it feels like a new controller again. It still has that slight little drift, but it's not enough for you to actually tell with your fingers or with your thumbs with the motions, and it looks like perfect 0 on the screen. Your little bit of stick drift is gone. Some games, they do, of course, have adjustments for these dead zones so that you can actually broaden the dead zone around perfect 0 for the joystick itself. So that way it doesn't get picked up or it doesn't get sensed. That's really what these dead zones are for. So that's another workaround too. But again, not every game has dead zones. And that can be tough. Like Stalker 2, for example, was actually set up where everybody was noticing their stick drift on their controllers, unfortunately. And they will be implementing dead zones pretty soon, I imagine, since it's 2025. But yeah, they did say they were going to actually add dead zones so people could actually implement those. But yeah, stick drift, unfortunately, is just highly likely with use with the Switch 2 Joy-Cons. They're a base controller, they're a base Joy-Con, just like the Switch ones. Again, the modules basically look the same. They're probably going to be the same because there's nothing necessarily different with these. And yeah, and this is frustrating because a lot of people have complained. I've even seen in the comments on multiple videos, including the teaser announcement from Nintendo America on their channel. And people want this actually to be fixed, and this is not a difficult thing to fix. All the companies have to do is when they actually build and construct the motherboard, allow the PCB chip to be there, connected with the motherboard and to each joystick module, and then allow a software update for your operating system to have the software to just be able to readjust it and put it back to, quote, perfect zero when it does drift. That way, basically, you'd never need to buy another controller again because you could readjust it whenever you needed to. Until maybe it got so bad that you would have to actually replace the controller. But of course, the companies don't really want to do this because they want to still continue to make and sell those controllers. And yeah, with them getting expensive, stick drift is becoming more of a nuisance and an annoyance for a lot of people. And yeah, it's frustrating. So this could be fixable by the companies. This could be implemented actually fairly easy with just a software patch and a PCB chip to allow you to recenter the stick to zero. But again, of course, they don't actually want to do that. For at least for Xbox players, if you actually do want to do that, there is a pair or a set of 2 PCB chips and 2 joysticks that you can actually buy on Amazon. And it's about $25 for the set here in the States. I don't know if it's available anywhere else, but you can check to see if it's there. There are also some other sets out there on eBay and other internet hub stores like that. And of course, read the reviews, all that good stuff to actually see if it's worth it. But yeah, I really want to get this out here because it's not really being addressed by Nintendo. And there are channels out there, hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers, where they're getting it wrong. I'm just sorry to have to say it that way. So yeah, please like and share this video. Get the word out there. I think people that are at least purchasing a Switch 2 should understand that the stick drift is likely going to be there. Of course, we won't know until the Switch 2 actually comes out, which we'll find out more probably during the official announcement on April 2nd. There's play testing, I think, through July. And so the actual release of the Switch 2 is going to be later this year, probably just in time for Black Friday and for the holidays. But yeah, Type 2 is impossible to really fix. You just have to replace the module or just buy another controller. And yeah, please share it with other people. I want them to know the truth. So my suggestion too is that when you actually buy your Switch 2, if you're going to grab one, is just buy a second pair of Joy-Cons. Because that stick drift is still likely to happen. The industry doesn't want to fix it. And, well, hey, that's all there is to it, really. So, thanks for listening. Again, like, share, sub if you wish. There's other stuff that I do on my channel, but hey, you can always go ahead and take a look. And hopefully, if you guys learned something, yeah, let me know. Leave it down in the comments. Is there anything else that you guys know? Are there any other repairers out there for controllers? What do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments. So with that, folks, I'll see you guys in the next one.